Alright, so this is my first time removing and replacing the starter on my 2005 Honda Pilot. I went to go home from work this morning, and all I got was a single click coming out of the car whenever I turned the key. I'm going to go ahead and say it's not the battery because the battery is brand new. I just put it in a month ago, and I don't have the tools, or do I want to go get the tools to test my starter relay. I've seen other videos that said it could be issues with that, but I went ahead and purchased the starter. I went to Advanced Auto Parts. This was, I think, is 136 before the core charge. So once I get this old one taken out and brought back to Advanced Auto Parts, it'll be, I think, a $22 core charge. So it'll be, I think, a total of about $110 for the part. And for the Honda Pilot, for this CarQuest model, it's 17728S, and it says WRE right there. So anyway, basically, I'm going to try to attempt in making this video. This is a quick show on how to do it. So the first thing you got to do is you got to take your battery out. And what I'm working on right now is taking the battery tray out, because you may not be able to see it, but the starter is, let's see, right here, right there behind the battery tray. So the battery tray's got to come out, so that's what I'm in the process of doing now. Alright, so I've got the battery tray out. I might be able to show you a better look at the starter. Let me get this in here. So the starter is this piece right here. This is gonna suck. I've never done this, so we'll see how much of a pain in the freaking butt this is gonna be. Alright, so this piece here, you kind of move it out of the way. You can see that's what connects to the battery. It runs along this whole little tube to the positive there. So that connects to the battery, that's on the starter. This little thing, that's just a plug-in. Don't know what the heck that goes to. And then there's another plug piece down underneath it. You can see right there. So really, the only thing you really need to worry about is the tiny little plug here and the battery cable. There's not much else to get confused with in terms of what wires go where. And then you can see it on the actual starter itself, the new one. So the starter will sit in there like that, and that's what it looks like here. See if it'll zoom. I'll freaking figure it out. But anyways, battery cable, the little plug thing, and whatever the freak that goes to. So this will be an attempt on removing this junk. So not sure what size that is. Looks like it's a 10. Let's see. No way. 12. Let's check it out. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out what sizes these are, I just went ahead and grabbed the new one. These are both size 12. Alright, so I got these little plugs off. Like I said, these are just 12s. This little guy, it's just a plug. Let's see on there, it slips on to that little portion. This is not that hard to do, this part right here. It come undone pretty quick. The new part comes with new nuts here, but it will not come with new mounting bolts here. So make sure you take care of these things. Alright, so for the mounting bolts, this is a 17 socket. And these are just 2 extensions. I watched another video, so this is that's kind of where I got a lot of my tips from. But the guy said that when he did it, you could buy the single piece extensions that are about as long or longer than the 2 of these together. But he said the single piece was too long, and that to add the 2 smaller extensions together, and it'll give you just the right amount of room. So let's see if that's true. Alright, so on the bolt, and it looks like I do have just the right amount of room. Alright, so this top bolt is a freaking bear. I've been working on this for a minute. I finally found actually a torque wrench that was longer than the socket wrenches that I had. So I just slapped that on there, and after busting the crap out of my knuckles just now, I finally got it. But just so you know, these things are a pain. And if you have either an extended, like an extra long handled socket wrench or whatever, something that'll give you the leverage, you're gonna need it. Okay, so in order to get to the bottom bolt, I can't really show you, but this is at an angle, so it's right below that part of the starter. I don't really have any room, and I don't want to take the plastics off the bottom of the car, so I'm going to take this little guy off there, this little bracket. Hopefully I can fit my hands underneath the starter and get a hold of it, so you may need to take that off. Okay, so the bottom bolt is pretty terrible because of the position that it's in. So I went ahead and grabbed my jack handle, I guess, and shoved the end of my socket wrench into the end of it, hoping that I could possibly get some leverage out of it, maybe. So we'll see how that works. Seems to have done the trick. Got that way down there on the bolt. Got my jack handle, and it's just barely, twisting, but it barely took any effort with the extended leverage that I got from the jack handle. Well, successful. That was a freaking pain. I don't know how to inspect these to see if it was bad or not, but I mean, we'll figure it out soon enough once we put in this new starter to see if my car starts. But that's it right there. That's where it goes. See, that's the little wheel that your starter will connect to. Whatever, you'll see like a little crank wheel. But that bottom bolt right there and that top bolt right there, they're pretty difficult. So bring a leverage bar, something, extended socket wrenches to help you get those off. And then that's the little wheel that your starter will, connect to inside the motor to help crank it. Oh, and apparently that top screw, this one, you don't have to undo it. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was undoing this nut here, thinking that I needed to, but all it was just holding this piece of wire going from one part of the starter to the other, whatever those are called. But anyways, all you gotta do is this plug, that nut, and those 2 bolts. So one thing to keep in mind I noticed while I was getting everything ready to be put back into the starter back in was that this bolt it's not terribly shallow, but it's shallow enough. So if you don't have that socket put on there just right, you might strip it out a little bit. So just make sure you don't force it. I mean, this sucked, but I was able to finally get it off there. Yeah, my phone just does not. Anyway, you can see what I mean, those shiny parts. with the bolt. Right there. Whatever. Okay, well, there it is installed. I freaking hope this is the problem. I just spent however long this has taken me, the last 2 hours, doing this junk. But anyway. So, last thing left to do is to put the battery tray back in. And, battery, try to start her up. Okay, so, battery's in, hooked up, starter's in, good to go. Hopefully that was the issue. If not, you're going to hear the sounds of depression setting in. Alright, so here it goes. Boom. Freaking booyahtzee, dude. Freak a leak. Got it done. Well, that feels good. Good to know that I got some work done. So hopefully my pain and discomfort, my trial and error, will be able to help some of you guys out. If you have an 05 Honda Pilot or of a similar model. Anyway, good to go. Now all that's left is I just got to put the battery brace back on. And then what you do is you just take this piece of crap old turd back to wherever it is you bought your new one from, and they'll refund you what's called a core charge. For me, it's 22 bucks. It might be different other places. So, same thing with car batteries. They probably do it with other parts, like alternators and stuff. So, anyway, hope this helped. Good luck on your project.